Hello guys. Welcome to my channel, Jura Tempest Federation. To quick warning, this video contains spoilers from the novel's extra web novel. This video continues from the novel's extra manhwa where the second season ends. But before we proceed further, please like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell for further updates. CUBE's first year class competitions begins now. The first year cadets' long-awaited class competitions finally began. The first day of class competitions started with a soccer tournament. Everyone from Veritas class went out to cheer for the 11 classmates who were participating. While most cadets were rejoicing at the fact that there would be no phenomenon realm analysis class, the soccer match began. Wow! That was my reaction after observing the match for just 20 minutes. I was glad I wasn't participating. That was how intense it was. Although using magic power was forbidden, cadets were existences whose physical abilities had transcended those of humans. For these monsters who could run 100 meters in 3 seconds, it was impossible to hold a normal soccer match. The soccer ball flew back and forth, as did the players. I watched this Wuxia World Soccer match like I was watching a movie. Then suddenly, Rachel, who was sitting next to me, poked my shoulder. When I turned around, Rachel looked at me and mumbled. Yes? Today's singing. What about it? What song? What song am I singing? Rachel nodded. She seemed a bit worried, but also scared. Was she worried that I would fail? How kind. I replied with a smile. Have you heard of it? Yes. It didn't look like she knew. I couldn't blame her. It was a song released in 2008. Perhaps because I mentioned a couple real singers when I was writing this novel, Tion existed in this world as well. Naturally, her song, If, also existed. Although it was a song from a female artist, I chose the song because I empathized with the song's lyrics, specifically the line, I'm afraid to meet because of the goodbye that would come in the future. Rachel SSI probably hasn't heard of it. It was released in 2008. 2008? I think so. I had to lower the key, but the musicians CUBE hired made all the necessary arrangements. They even praised me, calling me a great singer. Who? At that moment, the crowd broke out into cheers. I looked at the match and saw Kim Suho doing a goal celebration. Now that I think about it, the class competitions was a way to make Kim Suho shine. Then, I discovered Chai Nayan sitting in the front seat, happily cheering. A part of me immediately felt uneasy. Did Chai Nayan hear the news? Did she know that her older brother would wake up in half a year? At that moment, Chai Nayan turned around and met my eyes. I gave her a weak smile, then turned away. Time passed by, and the 90-minute-long soccer match ended. Our class was the obvious winner. Kim Suho and Shin Jonghak scored 3 goals and 2 goals respectively, and the opponent didn't score a single time thanks to Yang Han's miraculous saves and Kim Horak's stalwart defense. Outdoor competitions continued until 5 p.m. Afterwards, cadets moved to the indoor auditorium to watch today's final event, the singing competition. In the auditorium that had a maximum capacity of 4,000 people, second and third year cadets could also be seen. Oh right, class competitions are only for first years. That's why there are so many seniors here. Chai Nayan, who was looking around the auditorium wondering why there were so many upperclassmen, finally came to a realization. Yuyona retorted lightly. Yeah, our second-year seniors can't participate even if they wanted to, so they're spectating instead. Is Kim Hajin really going to represent our class? As she said that, Chai Nayan looked around. Kim Hajin was nowhere to be seen. He was likely in the waiting room, and Chai Nayan couldn't help but worry. No matter how much she thought about it, Kim Hajin didn't look like the type who could sing well. He looked like a stereotypical tone-deaf person. Wouldn't he just embarrass their class? He looked confident. He told me to look forward to it, so I am. Yuyona snickered and turned her gaze to the stage. The MC appeared at that moment. He exchanged small talk with the audience, then started the singing competition at exactly 6 o'clock. The first on stage was Ni Lee, a female American cadet from the world class. I chose a song called Promise. Neely sang an R&B song called Promise. Oh, I know this song. Chai Nayan got excited as it was one of the songs she liked. Neely met Chai Nayan's expectations, heating up the atmosphere with her explosive voice and vibrations. She's gotta be the first place winner. Yeah, she's a great singer. Kim Suho suddenly replied to Chai Nayan's mutter. He had approached her before she noticed. Kim Suho? When did you get here? Just now. So when is Hajin coming up? I don't know. After Neely, a Chinese cadet from cultivation class named Jean Harem came up. He sang a song called Sad Day, yet another song laced with high notes. It was the same for the cadet after Jean Harem. Cadets chosen as their representatives all chose songs with high notes and powerful climax. The competition continued and eventually reached the 9th stage. Ayuyu, my ears. Chai Nayan and many of the cadets in the audience were growing tired of hearing the same kind of songs. It was then. Tack, tack. Kim Hajin walked up to the stage with resounding footsteps. He was dressed nicely, unlike his usual self. His black jacket and jeans suiting him well, and he seemed taller than usual as though he had shoe inserts. Ooh, look at Hajin. The corners of Kim Suho's mouth were practically hung on his ears as he looked at Kim Hajin. Chai Nayan was dumbstruck looking at such Kim Suho. Please introduce yourself. The MC told Kim Hajin. Until then, the audience was still noisy. Perhaps because the 8th contender sang too well, everyone was busy talking among themselves to pay attention to Kim Hajin. However, I'm Kim Hajin from the Veritas class. A single sentence by Kim Hajin silenced the crowd. The way his voice rang on the microphone was surprisingly pleasant. I prepared a song called If. If? Yes. I don't think many people have heard of it. It was released in 2008. Then, the audience began to stir. What? 2008? Is it Trot? Is he an attention whore? 2008. That was when first-year cadets were born. Hearing that the music was from almost 2 decades ago, most cadets seemed to think it was old-fashioned. However, Kim Hajin remained unperturbed and began. Then I'll start. The lights went off other than the stage light shining on Kim Hajin, and monotonous piano accompaniment rang out. Soon, Kim Hajin's breath melted into the piano sound. If I were to go. And the first line of the song rang out. That was enough. That single line scattered the audience's complaints away. His soft vocals seemingly embraced the auditorium. First line, second line. As the slow song progressed, the auditorium grew quieter until only his voice filled the huge auditorium. Because I'm like a fool, and can only watch you from afar. With his eyes closed, Kim Hajin recited the lyrics like he was savoring them. There wasn't a single high note or fancy technique. However, his impossibly beautiful voice captivated the entire audience. Heavy, delicate, sweet, and temperate, everyone held their breaths as they savored this moment. His voice. Chai Nayan murmured in a daze. Sincere goosebumps rose up on her arms, while her eyes captured Kim Hajin's singing figure. His voice seemed to flutter in front of her, shining brilliantly to the point that she felt like she could touch it if she reached out just a bit. Because I'm afraid of the sadness and hurt that comes after our meeting. The final line of the song was the nail in the coffin. A cold falsetto perfectly melded into the heated atmosphere. Even after the song ended, the audience was in a daze as though they just woke up from a dream. Soon, they applauded. However, Chai Nayan stayed still without any motion. The song no one in the audience had heard about was brilliantly perfected by Kim Hajin. Its lyrics were still lingering in her ears. Thank you. Kim Hajin made a bashful smile as he bowed to the audience. At that moment, his eyes met Rachel's. For some reason, Rachel's eyes were wet with sorrow. This music is pretty sad. Thinking so, Kim Hajin smiled lightly. But behind Rachel was Chai Nayan. When he discovered Chai Nayan, the smile on his face disappeared, and he turned around feeling a bit uncomfortable. Soon, he received an alert on his smartwatch. You obtain 98 SP. Luck bonus activates. You obtain 15% additional SP. That's it for today, guys. See you in next one. For further more update, please like, share, and subscribe. And do not forget to push notification bell.